Hello again, writers, and happy Friday for real this time. As you see, I have our story arc from yesterday pulled up on my screen. And what you're going to be doing today is transitioning from this type of outline or story arc and more into a summary of your short story or your piece of realistic fiction. And so what you've done already is you've laid out the main events or the major events of your text by listing them on this type of arc. So what you're going to do now is take these events and turn it into a detailed summary. You're not writing the whole story, but you're telling us about what will happen in your story. Now, the one thing I don't want you to do is just take each one of these events and list them. You want to kind of add some more detail and elaborate a little bit. And then maybe this will also allow you to fill in some gaps within your story arc so that you have a full piece of fiction that covers the setting, the characters that are involved, the spark that leads to the rising action, which is really where the bulk of your story is in that rising action portion, the climax, and then the resolution. And just to give you some tips on how to add to that rising action section of your short story, that's what we also call the tension part, the building of tension in a piece of fiction. That's what makes the reader want to keep reading because there's tension. They want to know what comes next. So some ways to do that is to increase the obstacles or problems that your character is facing, or maybe the difficulty of those obstacles. Another way is to make it challenging for the character to act quickly. Like, for example, in my story that have been modeling for you, maybe I try to use my cell phone, but there's no cell reception, and so I can't quickly call an ambulance to save my husband. You might find something similar to put into your story. You can create a time crunch, meaning that the character has to do something very quickly, and so they either have to make a quick decision or they're struggling to make a quick decision. You can raise the character's motivation, meaning really explore what is leading your character to act, or amplifying that character trait that makes that person want to overcome their problem, or even possibly by adding some danger. And if there's already danger in your story, you don't necessarily have to add more danger. We want to make sure that these stories remain realistic, but those are just some ideas to help you explore the tension or the rising action portion of your text. So, in summary, look over your story arcs. Look at all of the events, and then you're going to basically be telling us about your story with as much detail as you can without writing the story. So kind of think of it as if you are going to talk to someone and tell them what your story is going to be about, but making sure you're including all of those elements that were on your story arc. And as always, make sure you log into your Teams meeting if you need any help at all.